That wasn't too loud.
Yeah, no. All right, cool.
Hell yeah, I like that. You got a little soundboard over there?
Hell yeah. All right. I usually just play the theme music. I'll hit an intro and then we can roll.
All right, man. Sounds good.
Yo, welcome back to the Garden Fresh podcast. Guess what? We were on a holiday break, but we're back. Actually, in real good quality this week. We have a real deal stand-up comedian graced our pod today.
What's up, man?
No pressure, man, but we're looking for something.
Okay.
No, so yeah, we've been off for a few weeks for the holidays. I was planning on taking off the holidays, but opportunity, comes at us every once in a while. So Bair's in the building. Bair the comic on Instagram, right?
Yes, sir.
Bair the comic.
Bair.
Yeah. So might as well just get to that. Bair's a unique name.
That's my last name.
Ah, okay.
So my first name's David, but when I joined the Army, everybody in my unit called me by my last name, and then when I got out, I just kept introducing myself that way.
That's badass.
Just quit going by my first name.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't have known it was Bair, B-A-I-R,
yeah,
if I didn't
Not a lot of people do
on social media. Yeah. Anyways, so a couple weeks ago, I saw you at the Looney Bin crushing it up there, and
hell yeah, did you have a good time?
Yeah, man, I always do up there. But I saw the red beard. I saw the boots. I was like, maybe he's local.
That's a good guess.
Yeah. So my luck, right?
Right.
All right. Hell yeah. So what's up, dude? You're into all kinds of shit. Stand-up comedy is your passion, right?
Right. That's what I do 24/7. I started doing stand-up in 2017.
Yeah.
And I was living in Russellville at the time and driving back and forth from Russellville to Little Rock trying to get spots.
Hell yeah.
And then ended up moving down here in 2018, and then I had an opportunity. There was five other comics from Little Rock moving to Los Angeles, and I was basically a year in, so I have no experience and really no business going out there. But I had an opportunity, and I figured, you know what, might as well pull the trigger and go. And I went out there and learned a lot and had a great time, and I think that it helped me solidify that this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And then I was out there up until COVID. And then after everything shut down, I was working at a comedy club out there called Flappers.
Yeah.
And they, nobody could work. And for like 6 months of no work and rent still $3,000 a month. I was like, fuck this.
Damn.
Ended up coming back to Arkansas and starting my own shit here.
That's wild. So, I mean, obviously, you weren't paying $3,000 by yourself.
No.
You and the crew of comics, right?
Yeah. Like 6 comics in a 3-bedroom house.
Yeah.
6 comics and 4 cats. 2 of the comics each had 2 cats.
Hell no.
That's 10 things that should have been aborted a long time ago.
Yeah. So like the idea of moving out there, obviously you're trying to live your dream, and that's like, and most people are not even going to attempt that shit. You know what I mean? Not even try it, just because it's so like.
Well, they would be the smart ones. So
yeah, but I'm just thinking like once you got out there. And you're trying to find your footing, but you kind of need everybody else to pay rent too. So are all of y'all like supportive with each other just to try to get everybody going?
Well, at first everybody was, but one of the comics dropped out immediately because he found a girl that would touch his pee-pee right beforehand. And so she started touching him, and I'm sorry, should I say stuff like that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But he found her there?
Well, he met her here. Started talking to her like the month before we went out there. And we all get out there, and like the second month's rent, he's like, hey guys, I'm going back. Like, I can't, I gotta go be with her.
That's some pussy shit.
Fucking idiot. Like, I was so mad. I'm still mad at this guy.
So y'all had to find another roommate or?
No, we ended up all of our rent went up. Because we're.
Sweet, bro.
Yeah, it was not good. But we were all real supportive. Ended up, I was out there with the Kleitch brothers, they're twins. And they got a job working at Flappers, and then they got me and another comic in the house, Kayla Esmond. They got all those jobs at Flappers. And so during the day, we would work there and then go out and hit the town and do spots at night.
That's badass. Flappers sounds like a made up place. Not gonna lie to you,
It's the bottom. It's like
when they say like chuckle fucks and shit like that.
Yeah,
it sounds like a made up place. But anyway,
Flappers is the Mr. Pibb of comedy clubs.
Yeah, but hey, it's a place to be, right?
Right.
It's a place.
I see you pulling it up now. Yeah. Which actually, I saw Bill Burr there, which was fantastic. Like in the main room, is like seats about 200, something like that, and that's one of the best sets I've ever seen live. Like I went in there and he did maybe an hour and 10, an hour and 20 minutes, and I left feeling physically tired. Like I left like exhausted from laughing so hard.
That's funny. Oh, that was in Los Angeles, like proper, like in the city?
It's in Burbank. It's right.
Oh, okay. So there's a lot to dig in on that. One being, what was the you're all from Arkansas, right? Mm-hmm. And you're taking over a club. Was that like, you know what I mean? Like, what were people saying to you? Like, I know somebody had to like put it together. All these Arkansas folk.
Yeah, well, they called us the Arkansas House. So we would do a backyard show.
Yeah, and
had a guy named Kyle Anderson. He produced it. A real funny comic out of Vegas, and he would book bigger names. Like we had Josh Wolf, Ali Makovsky, other people in our backyard. Yeah. It was pretty cool. And but everybody kind of knew us as the Arkansas House because we all rolled the shows together.
Yeah,
and stuff.
Hell yeah, that's crazy. I could just imagine people walking in there and just like they talk to one person from Arkansas and then somebody else help them.
There was 2 other people that worked at Flappers from Arkansas that we didn't know till we got there.
That's wild.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's cool. People trying to live their dream. So fast forward, we get to COVID. You move back. Yeah. Now you're just like, hey, I'm about to bust shit down here in Little Rock.
Right. So there wasn't. The biggest thing that I learned out there is, in my opinion, the way to make it out there is you have to have some type of following before you get there, and then use that following to leverage yourself into good spots at the clubs.
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, well, I need to develop a following, which is why I started working on my podcast. And then the other thing is like stage time. Here we've got the loony bin mic and the joint mic, and that's it. That's the only time you can really go up unless you're constantly booked, which there's just not enough stages here to be constantly booked like that.
Yeah.
So what me and one of my buddies did, Zane Lovelady, we started a production company, and we would go to the bars and be like, hey, y'all are real hurting after COVID, trying to get people in the door. Pay us to do a show, and we'll come in and bring people in to kind of revitalize your bar. And so that's been our business model, and it's been working so far.
What is that called?
Scoundrels live stand-up.
Scoundrels. Okay.
Yeah.
And that, we were talking earlier, that's how we would find out where y'all are at on a given night.
Follow at Scoundrels live stand-up. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook. We post it all there. We post the shows and stuff on Facebook, and then clips and flyers and stuff on Instagram.
That's cool, man. That's cool. You're kind of doing stuff like, I don't know if you set out to do it for the community, but it's really like helping Little Rock's like kind of community. You know what I mean?
That's what everybody keeps telling me.
Yeah.
And it's great though, because like I get more stage time and better stage time here than I did in Los Angeles. Because out there I would go up like 14 times a week, but it would be on the shittiest open mic. So you'd be following like a clown. And you're like a clown, like, what do you mean like clown? I mean like flower in his shirt pocket with water in a clown.
That's funny.
Or a mime or a magician or what, and it's just you two in the room just waiting to go up in some back bar, like some away from all the people.
Yeah.
And so you don't really get good quality stage time unless you know somebody or you've proven yourself a little bit, or unless you make it. And so we decided to make it here.
Yeah, it's so watered down out there, right? Like,
because there's
everybody's
10,000 fucking comics out there.
Yeah.
Well, there's probably 1,000 of them that are at the headliner level.
Yeah,
and then there's about 9,000 that are open micers trying to get there. So
that's fucking wild.
Like you go to the Comedy Store for their open mic, you're standing in line with 300 people. Yeah, and they're drawing out of a bucket for 10 spots.
And
and out of those 10 spots, they're giving 9 of them to their friends. So you like,
well, those cats too standing in line. They're knocking on the door of being decent, right?
Well, I mean, some of them out there like
are goofballs too.
Some of them are legit. Some of them are like legit headliners that just haven't been found yet, haven't made it yet. Yeah. They're standing there trying to get in front of the booker, and then some of them are as a homeless guy that just saw a line and decided he was going to stand in it with everybody else.
Yeah. Wyatt doesn't really like him. Do you know who Rick Glassman is? Have you heard of Rick Glassman? I would say Eric. What's the dude from? Fuck, now I'm blanking. Eric
Andre?
Griffin.
I know Eric Griffin. Yeah.
So him and Eric Griffin are homies, right?
Okay.
He has
Eric
a big
Griffin's funny.
podcast. He does like the Cellar and shit, but he's not passed at the store. So yeah,
Eric Griffin's not.
no,
the store?
Rick Glassman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, Eric Griffin.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure. Like,
No, Eric Griffin. Yeah, fuck yeah, he is. I think he's most underrated. One of the most underrated
he's
cats
great.
out there.
Yeah.
Anyways, Rick Glassman. So like he'll play the store sometimes when he can get on, and he wears a shirt that says "Not passed at the store" just to try to.
Oh, that's slick. That's smart. I like that.
Yeah, but he's doing like the Cellar and shit in New York, like big time stuff, you know. But he's just not an LA guy. You know what I mean? But hell yeah, dude. I'm pumped that you're on. I'm even more pumped that you like know about this shit. You're not just kind of into it, because I obviously I wouldn't know that just seeing you on stage.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that's fucking cool, because me and Wyatt are like super into comedy, not in a way that we would attempt it, but as a fan, you know what I mean? So that's dope. That
If y'all ever want to attempt it, come out. It's a lot of fun.
I don't see Wyatt doing it. If you got me on the right amount of like beer level, I could probably like wing it. You know what
The
I mean?
thing is, man, you get up, do whatever you got to do, get drunk, whatever, go out. It's fun.
I imagine it's fun.
You go up one time, you'll go up for like 3 to 5 minutes, something short. You'll ramble for a little bit, and then you'll get one laugh. And then you'll know.
Yeah.
If you get a laugh, you'll know. It's addicting.
How old were you the first time you got on stage?
24.
24?
I was going to college at Arkansas Tech.
I went to Tech, dude.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
I was going to school up there, and I convinced one of my buddies to come down. I was like, man, let's just go try it. Like, we could be comics. Like, fuck.
Where at?
It was at Hibernia Irish Tavern, which is off of Rodney Parham.
Okay.
They don't do a mic there anymore.
I think we went over there once. It's like up in a shopping center type deal.
Kind of. It's like right next to a Arabian food place, like an Arabic place.
Shit, I don't know. Anyway, sorry. Yeah. You're talking to your friend. And
and I was like, come on, man, let's go. So we go down there, and like an idiot, I brought all of my friends. I brought so many people to come see me do it for the first time, which is stupid. Like, if you're out there and you want to try stand up, don't tell anybody you're going to try it. Just go get good and then tell people.
Are they clowning your ass out?
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I got some laughs. It wasn't terrible, but the second I grabbed the mic, I was like, oh, this is what I'm doing.
Oh,
like, I found it. Like,
yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's cool.
And I dropped out the next day. So.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Shit, and you just...
You're right. That is crazy. Yeah. Don't do that, kids. Stay in school.
Hell yeah. Now, so I haven't done it in probably like 5 or 6 years, but I used to love karaoke. But I would do like I Smell Sex and Candy, something that would kind of like the crowd would know.
See, if you do karaoke the right way and you get the crowd to sing along, it's way easier than just go up there trying to sing.
Oh, no, I'm not trying to sing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to fuck around up there, you know what I mean? But
I was real worried about stage fright when I first started doing stand-up. So I did karaoke for the first time the week before, trying to prepare myself for stand-up. Because I was like, if I can sing on stage, I can tell jokes.
Dude, I might have to get him to collab. I have a wedding coming up.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting married, and I'm gonna probably have to have a speech.
Yeah.
I need to bust some laughs out of that bitch.
Yeah, man.
That'll be my first gig right there. If I can make my family laugh, well, that'll make sense. If not, I mean, fuck them, right?
I mean, what are they going to do? Not be your family?
Yeah, leave the wedding. So. Shit.
All this free food and drinks, you're just going to leave
it? Damn it. Nah, dude, that's badass. So, where are you from?
I'm from Garden, if you know where that is. It's just south of Arkadelphia.
Oh, damn. Oh, so you made it to Tech from down there, huh?
Yeah.
So, okay,
It's a long trip. I went to Oklahoma State for a little bit.
Yeah.
And right out of high school, I went to Oklahoma State. I went out there, followed my high school sweetheart, and we broke up immediately.
Of course.
And I moved home and didn't know what I was doing. I went to UALR for a little bit, just trying to figure it out. Then I joined the Army.
Yeah.
Then after I got done with training, I went to Tech.
Hell yeah. So you had a little experience in Little Rock being at Euler. That's cool.
And I grew up in Garden, but I was always back and forth between Bryant and Garden.
Oh,
so I'm familiar with the
around here. Yeah. Hell yeah. So, you said you kind of just jumped into it. You talked your friend into it. Well, what got you interested in it? Were you watching specials when you were a kid, or what was the?
I was working security at a paper plant.
Yeah.
And checking people's trucks as they were coming in and out. and sitting there smelling the paper plant. It smelled horrible.
I could smell it from my apartment. From
Yeah,
like
it's-
fucking. Or
it
you
was
in
in-
like Dardanelle?
it was in Morrilton.
Morrilton.
Yeah.
Okay. Fuck.
And sitting there, and I was looking up. I knew Rogan did stand up, and I'm a big fan of stand up. And so I was sitting there in the guard shack trying to pass the time, and was looking up his stand up clips, and came across his podcast that way. And so I was watched a few of his stand up clips, and then had his podcast on in the background. And then just when I was at work listening to that, there was an episode where he was talking to Shab about Shab starting stand up.
Yeah.
And it really clicked with me. It felt real relatable. It felt like he was talking to me. I was like, well, hell, why don't I try it? I feel funny.
I think we all know that fucking episode. That was a pretty like crazy episode.
Yeah.
Shab was fighting it, but yeah. No, that's cool, man. It really like resonated with you there.
Yeah. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to try it. And then I went to the Looney Bin and talked to the MC there. And he introduced me to the guy running the open mic at Hibernia. And the next week, like I took a week to write some stuff and then went in and tried it.
Where'd you get the fucking balls to even like, or you just like, fuck it, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work? Or you just have like a high hope that it was going to work?
Well, I mean, I did rodeo. I was in the Army. Like, they ain't going to shoot me. They ain't going to gore me. Like, worst case, they're not going to laugh. Like, I'll be okay.
I like this, man. That's the, yeah, I kind of live by that fucking.
Were you like
what
the
does it matter, you know?
comedian in high school and college class, or were you kind of more quiet?
Sometimes, I mean, y'all always had a good sense of humor, but I was awkward, man. Like, I was real quiet, real reserved, real shy. And it took doing stand-up to get social. That's what taught me to be social.
Really?
Was
Yeah.
go. Because I was the guy that if I showed up at a party and I didn't know anybody, I would sit in the corner and not even talk to the people to my left or right, play on my phone, look at my feet. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wanted to break out of that. And I started doing stand-up, and stand-up gave me the confidence to, like, go talk to people, which sounds simple, but I didn't have the confidence to talk to strangers.
Well,
and
yeah.
so
I mean,
after
you came to our strange house in the middle of the night,
Right.
without knowing me. Yeah. No, I get that.
after doing stand-up, I was like, okay, the worst they can do is, like, not like me. And
Right.
that I'll live if they don't.
Fuck 'em.
So
Yeah,
just
right.
try. And it's just trial and error, just doing it. It's just reps, just like anything else. You do it for thousands of times. Eventually, you learn how to do it well.
I think the better question would be, in your comfortable state with your buddies, is that when you were like shining on like fucking with them? Or was it literally, it took you doing comedy to even like think about being funny?
Oh, no. If I was with my buddies, I could be funny.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if
Yeah.
you could fuck with them, yeah.
Yeah. It's just like in public, before I started doing stand up, everybody has funny thoughts. It's just 90% of people choose not to say them.
Right. Yeah.
And I got mad. I started getting mad at myself for not saying shit because I'd be like, damn, I should have said that. Yeah, they may not have liked it, but it was also funny. Like, she did have a head that looked like a potato. Like, I should have just said it. And then I started doing stand up, and then I started saying it. And sometimes it gets you in trouble, but
yeah.
lean towards your sense of humor. And over time, if you work on it, you get better. And then
Yeah. I think
fun.
my deal would be to like, if I did accidentally piss somebody off, to like get out of it. I don't know if I would be good at like getting out of it.
So we used to do an open mic at Four Quarter. Do you know where that is? In North Little Rock. It's right there in Argenta on Main Street in North Little Rock. There's a big line of bars there. Well, we were doing a show there one night. I'm on stage, and this woman walks in, and she is in a terrible mood and starts heckling on the way in. She hadn't even like set her purse down, hadn't taken her jacket off, nothing. She's just running her mouth, walking the door like these fucking idiots on stage. And so I've got this in a joke, but I decided to just point it at her. I was like, excuse me, ma'am, is that a beer gut or are you pregnant? And she kind of looks back and she appreciated the humor. She laughed. She was like, okay. And then she started fucking with me. And I have jokes about random stuff. I started making all of my jokes about her. I was just on stage rewriting my jokes to all be about her, just roasting her.
yeah.
And she walks upstairs to the balcony, sits down, starts smoking a cigarette, laughing. After the show, I found out that like 2 weeks prior, her baby daddy threw her kids down the stairwell. And I don't think both of them lived. I think like one of them died or maybe both of them died. she had like this horrible, tragic. Yeah, I know, man. And I'm up there like, you fat bitch, like just roasting the hell out. But she said it's the first time she's laughed since that happened.
Oh, that's cool.
But that's why she was drunk, and that's why she walked in there in a terrible mood, is because her kids had been thrown down a stairwell. And
fuck. God.
yeah, you want to talk about a minefield that I was walking through and didn't know it.
Yeah, hell no. No, dude,
I've had people come up to me after a show and be like, my mom died this week. Like, this is the first time I've laughed since my mom died. Like, things like that. And that makes me feel good.
Yeah, I bet it does, dude. That's some heavy shit.
Yeah. But that's one thing, like, especially at a comedy, people go to comedy shows when they're trying to get away from stuff. Yeah. And so you never know with an audience member what's going on in their life.
Yeah.
And so if somebody gets upset with me when I'm on stage, I usually don't blame them. I mean, sometimes I do. But I try to remember that they're probably got something fucked up in their life. And if I talk to them for a little bit, I can find a way to make them laugh about it.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because, like, I had a woman get mad at me. I have a suicide joke. And she starts crying in the middle of the show and, like, kind of yelling at me.
Yeah.
And I was like, ma'am, did somebody in your life just recently commit suicide? And she just starts sobbing, yes, they did. Yeah. Was trying to pull out of that. I was like, God damn. So I don't remember how I did. I think I asked her what her name was or something and made fun of her name, and that's got her to laughing. As soon as I got her to laughing again, everybody was on board, and then I got everybody to cheer for her, then we moved on. Yeah. But it's dangerous.
Fuck. So, like when you're all right, so obviously you're kind of just shooting at the hip at that point. But before that, before you get into those situations, I know you're trying to keep to, some sort of thing set that you have in your head. But like you said, you've been doing this for 5 years.
5 years.
So walk us through like your evolution of like how you have constructed your style.
Okay. So
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Beforehand, my style is mostly storytelling. Yeah. And I'll write stories and then put jokes into the stories to punch them up so that people listen to the whole thing. And when I started, I would get a set list and I would have an idea of the jokes I was going to tell, and I would get on stage and I would not break from that set list. Like, no matter what happened in the room, these are the jokes I'm telling, these are the jokes you're getting. If you don't like it, I hate that for you. You should have went to a different show. Yeah. And over time, and just with writing more jokes and being in more situations, I got comfortable with, I'll start in a set list, but if something happens in the room, I'll break script and just start talking about it. And like I said, if you do it long enough, you start to get a sixth sense of where to go with ideas. And if I ever hit, I don't know, let's say murky water, like somebody's mom just died or something, I can always go back to the jokes. I'm confident that I can go back to it, but also I've written enough jokes now that I can start talking to somebody and usually steer the conversation into a joke I've already written. Yeah. So it seems like it's in the moment and fresh and like, he just came up with that, but that's a joke I already had. I just steered the conversation towards it.
Yeah, that's cool. Have you kind of like, obviously I'm not in comedy, but have you understood like the human brain better by doing this? Like the manipulation like that is possible?
I'd like to say yes, but no. No. I mean, probably intuitively yes, but it'd be hard to articulate.
Yeah. I just feel like you understanding like, hey, I can get them there eventually. Mm-hmm. You kind of got it. You know what I mean? Like
I can read people pretty well now. That's something, because like when you're on stage, when I'm selling jokes, I'm not thinking about the jokes I'm telling. I'm thinking like, okay, that guy's not watching. Okay, she's on her phone. Okay, they're talking over there. Like, and I'll use my eye contact and my gestures to try to pull people's attention back in. That makes sense. And so that's where all my head's in. So like, I'll read people when I'm off stage. So I'll be like at a bar or something and be like, okay, he's mad at her. Okay, she's like, and you just pick up on little things, just little subtle human things.
I used to play that game with person I used to hang out with and be like, what do you think they're talking about? You know what I mean? And just kind of like, obviously we're probably fucking way off, but you know what I mean? Just kind of break down that. Oh, my fiance's like a mental health therapist. So she's like, she's super like introverted, so she's not going to come at you about anything. Mm-hmm. But you know she can fucking see through all the bullshit. Mm-hmm. So, I've never probably lied to her with her like fucking already knowing immediately. Yeah. That's fucking dope. Let's talk about fucking etiquette in a comedy room.
Okay. That's something that will get on a comic's nerves. And
being from somebody that's never been there.
Yeah.
I can see, like, you know, I'll be sitting there with my arms crossed for a second and be like, oh shit, he probably thinks I'm not liking this, you know what I mean? And I'll like set up, but then you got motherfuckers like just blatantly like talking to you while you're like in the middle of a story or something.
Right.
That is like off the wall or not have anything to do with the story.
You tell him, man.
What?
You tell him, man.
I'm just like, it's like, let the man do his thing. I know they think that they're being a part of the show.
Some people think they're being a part of the show. Some people think they're helping. Some people are literally just trying to be assholes. Like, assholes exist. Yeah. And it's fun to be an asshole, especially when you're with your buddies and you're drunk and you're like, haha, I'm going to fuck with this guy. And it doesn't matter how the show goes because you're trying to show out for your friends. You're trying to impress them.
Yeah.
And I get it from all sides. But the good thing about what we do is we do bar shows, like packed bar shows every week. Like, we've had up to like 5 or 6 a week, and so the slow week we'll do 3.
Yeah.
So when you're doing bar shows with people that don't give a fuck, they did not come there for stand up. They're there to drink and chase pussy and do anything but listen to you.
Yeah.
And it it's hard at first, but it teaches you to not really give a fuck. Like, if they interrupt, they interrupt.
Yeah.
But also you learn how to deal with it and how to get people's attention and use your jokes. And like, because when I started a bar show, first words out of my mouth are about to be hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, I'm coming in loud. I'm using strong eye contact. I'm being very confident. I'm basically yelling into the microphone.
Yeah.
But also I'm yelling something that I know is going to get a laugh right off the bat. That way, I got your attention. Because if I got your attention for the first 10 seconds and I get a laugh in, you're going to listen for the next 10.
Hell yeah.
And then you just build from there.
Yeah, that's funny shit, dude.
A lot of people will talk, and it is rude, especially at a comedy club. I have way less respect for it when people like pay money to get into a comedy club to see it, because then you're purposely being a dick, and everybody else paid too, and you're interrupting their night. And so that's why a lot of comics will just eviscerate people who talk.
Yeah. Dude, I just went to a Memphis Grizzlies game last weekend, and the dude behind me, come to find out, he was from Iowa, right? Didn't know that at the beginning, but he was cheering for the 76ers. But he was just, the team can't hear you. So it's just these fucking 20 people around you that is getting fucking mad. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like throughout the whole thing, and if Mary Kate wasn't with me, I probably would have fucking said something to him, because I'm not going to act like that in front of her. But it was just all night. And throughout the night, everybody around him started getting more drunk, and then they started going at his ass, you know what I mean? And he slowly got quieter and quieter, you know? So I could see if a comic, especially a comic that has a fucking loaded gun up there,
right?
See, waiting for somebody to...
I do this every day.
Yeah.
You're not, if you start talking and we start talking back and forth, you're not going to outsmart me.
Yeah.
Not in conversation. Like, I'll get to the punchline first. And if I've got a microphone, even if you're funnier than me, I'll be louder than you. Like, there's nothing you can do. You're going to lose.
Yeah. That's a question I had, was you always see these YouTube videos or Facebook videos of heckler or comic destroys heckler. Have you ever had like a heckler like stump you a little bit?
Yeah, of course. And it sucks, but it happens. I mean, especially at bar shows and stuff. Yeah, hecklers stump me all the time.
Yeah.
But that's, especially in the beginning, because you don't know. And so sometimes you tip your hat to the heckler and you're like, hey, man, you fucking got me. That was hilarious. Then you try to move on. And the worst thing you can do is get mad.
Yeah.
Even if you are mad at it, the worst thing you can do is let them know that they got under your skin, because then they win.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fuck that. Some of the younger guys that I like is Michael Blaustein and Trevor Wallace. I don't know if you...
I know Trevor Wallace.
But...
well, know of him. I don't know him.
Yeah. Well, both of those, they put out crowd work clips, because I'm sure they don't want to put their set out.
Right.
But, you know, with them with people starting to put crowd work clips out, you see these fucking just ass whippings that the comedians are giving to people, you know what I mean? That you would could before get like while you were in the show, you know? I
mean, you just got to talk to people. Like, because if I've got a microphone and I start talking, you're going to say something stupid.
Yeah.
If you're dumb enough to interrupt a live show with 30, 40, 100 people watching, you're dumb enough to say something stupid when I start talking to you.
I saw Gabriel Iglesias Fluffy last year. And there was a person there that you could tell was a big fan. And they just would not fucking shut up.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, you knew they loved him. But eventually, he just let it rip on him. You know what I mean? And he was like, "Can you?" I don't know if he said "fucking," but he was just like getting in there. He's like, "You're ruining the show for everybody." You know what I mean? I was like, everybody was like cheered when he did that because everybody wanted that person to shut up.
And see, that's another great thing is that somebody will heckle and you can pretend to not hear them. You can ignore them, and then they think they're winning. But really what you're doing is you're letting them keep being loud and piss off everybody around them. Because if the crowd's already mad at them, and then all of a sudden you speak on the voice of the crowd's got your back.
Yeah.
So if anything goes down, like it's now 100 versus 1.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times what people will do, and really good comics will do, is they'll let them kind of go for a little bit. And it's just like giving them a little more rope to hang themselves with. Like, just let them piss off everybody. And then as soon as you can tell everybody's pissed off around them, then you start leaning in on them.
That's fun.
Because then if you're mean, nobody cares because now it's justified.
Yeah.
But what's worse is when somebody heckles like for like the first time and it's really pissing you off because you know how much to interrupt the show, but they haven't pissed off everybody else yet.
Yeah.
And especially if it's a woman and you start being real mean and they're like, oh my God, why is he being mean to this lady?
Yeah.
And then it changes the dynamic completely. So you got to be careful about being mean. But like, especially if you let them go on for a little bit, you can really turn somebody up.
Damn. Have you seen that clip of that person? I think it was a lady throwing a beer at the other comic, that lady?
No.
Pull that up, Wyatt.
She threw a beer at her?
Yeah.
We had a lady at Town Pump throw chairs at us.
Actually,
How do I look this up?
yeah, well, I can play it on the iPad to get the audio. I just need to know what I'm looking up.
Lady throws beer.
That comment, yeah. I think so.
I don't know what I'd do if somebody threw a beer at me.
It'd be hard not to go ape shit.
Yeah. that would be hard.
Oh, here it is. That's probably
In New Jersey, and her epic response goes viral. Sweet.
I don't want the fucking news story.
Yeah, I just want to see the set. I don't care what NBC says about it.
Oh, she picked it up.
Oh,
and
she
started
picked it up and
drinking?
started drinking it. Hell yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for the beer, bitch.
Did you vote for Donald Trump?
Did I vote for Donald Trump? What do you think?
No.
Okay. Here's a question for you. Why would you ask me that in here knowing I'm the only Jew in this room? Are you trying to get me killed? If it makes you feel any better, I vote in New York. My vote doesn't matter there. It doesn't matter here either. It doesn't matter. Guys, everybody vote for whoever you want to vote. I don't care who you voted for. I'm just happy we're all here together.
So you voted for Biden?
I don't know. Why does it matter? Yeah, so what? Why does it matter?
I can just tell by your jokes you voted for Biden.
Alright. I can tell by the fact that you're still talking when nobody wants you to that you voted for Trump.
See, just walks her right into it.
Stop talking. Yes. Don't understand me to stop.
Alright, make some noise if you want her to shut up. But I did ask if anybody had any questions. I didn't think it was going to be... That's on me. That was on me for thinking I could have a human interaction with somebody. That's my fault. No, look, I'm such an insecure person. Here, I'll tell you the rest of that bit. And
She's
then
trying to
we'll
get
move
back
on.
into it.
I'm
Yeah,
so
just trying to go back
insecure.
in. That's what you do.
Are you fucking kidding me? Yo, I'm never coming out with these
kidding me?
people ever again.
She drinks it. That's pretty badass.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, could you imagine that shit? Oh, you said you got a chair thrown at you, but fuck.
Well, Chris Bailey was on stage. He got the chairs thrown at him. I bounced the situation. So I got in between him and the lady. The comic before him did jokes about trans women in the UFC, which very sensitive topic.
Yeah,
but,
right. Yeah.
But also
it could be funny.
it was a hilarious joke.
Yeah.
And the lady's daughter is trans.
Okay.
And so just because he said trans, she was drunk and she was like, oh, well, I'm about to defend my daughter's honor. And got upset, started getting real mouthy, and then he got real funny and kind of shut her down. Then the next comic gets on stage and said something about it, just referenced it.
Yeah.
And then she got up and started like going up there and started throwing chairs, and then we had to kick her out.
Fuck. Dude.
It's grown people act like that in public is just crazy.
Yeah, it's like 1 out of every 1,000. Like just one person's just can't handle their alcohol and they have a shit life. They're going through a divorce. Somebody just shot their dog and then they happen to be at the wrong place at the wrong time and you make the wrong joke.
Oh, dude, it'd be hard to keep my composure up there. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? I know you're trying to accomplish something, so you know.
Yeah, it's when somebody acts a fool like that, if they're acting that ridiculous, it no longer it like doesn't upset you more. Now you're like okay, I've got you.
Yeah,
Like
you're
no matter what happens, you lose this situation.
Yeah,
and it just gets fun again. Especially if you've got other people there to bounce them and keep them up. Because like as long as there's not like a Will Smith, Chris Rock situation, then everything's gonna be all right. Which that's why I keep a hold of the mic stand too.
Oh shit!
Ever since Will Smith slapped Chris Rock.
So you say Gurdon?
Yeah,
Gurdon. Okay.
Gurdon.
I feel like I have met somebody from Gurdon. I'm not gonna attempt to try to remember who, but that's like hunting farm country, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what's the life in Gurdon that led to a stand-up comedian dream? Or was the dream after, or was the dream when you were young?
Well, when I was young, I always loved telling stories.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I would come home, and I was raised by my grandparents. So I would come home, see my grandma, and just make some shit up.
Okay.
I'd be like, I was in a wreck. Like, there's a dead dude outside. We got to call the cops. Like, we got I walked here, and she's like, "What?" No, I'm just playing.
So you had it.
So I would fuck with her.
You've had
And
it. Yeah.
I could get my grandma going a lot, and that'd be real funny. But like anytime something would happen, I would be telling my friends in my head. I'd be like, if I was a comic, this is how I would tell this story.
Yeah.
And so I would always gravitate toward, and I love stand up. I love watching like old Ron White clips and stuff like that. So I would be like, if I was like Ron White, this is what I would say.
Yeah.
And then when I was 24 and I was watching that podcast, and Rogan was like, you can just do stand up. And I was like, oh shit, I can just do stand up.
Damn. Like I've thought about like the possibility of that, and it seems like Little Rock would be a tough place. So I feel for you on that. It
is in it, but it's also perfect.
Really?
Because there's no stakes here. If I go out and bomb tomorrow in front of 100 people, the next day, nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to remember. Nobody will be able to tell them. I have a very memorable name. My name's Bair.
Yeah.
But people will still be like, I don't remember his name. He was just some Joe Schmo. It wasn't funny.
Yeah.
And
that's a good point.
It's great, too, because realistically, we've got maybe 10 comedians here that are actually working. Like, we've got anywhere between 20 and 30 open micers that'll show up like one show a month.
Yeah.
But for the most part, 10 that are serious about it. And if you talk about like the Looney Bin or any other club in the state, if they need spots filled, there's only 10 guys they're going to call. So the competition's not that high here. Like, you're going to get spots. If you work and you're good and you like actually give a shit, you'll get spots.
Yeah. What's the time on a what you call open mic? How many minutes you have to do?
Depends. So if you're brand new and you've never done it before, I'll give you 3.
3.
Give you a light at 2, so you'll do 2 minutes, and I'll give you a flashlight, and then you've got 1 minute to wrap it up. Damn. And then once you get comfortable with that, I'll give you 5, and once you get comfortable with that, I'll give you more. But like sometimes, because the way our open mics are set up, it's a show as far as the business is concerned.
Yeah.
So we have time to fill. So we've got between an hour and an hour and a half we have to fill.
Yeah.
So if 4 comics show up, we're still doing an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So sometimes like everybody's doing 25. But we're good enough and we've got good enough comics that we can do that and it not be a bad show. It'll still be a good show.
Well, I got an 8-minute story that I was under a bed while one of my friends jacked off twice that I could probably wing it with. But I only know it's 8.
Wait. You were under the bed and they beat off, finished, laid there, recuperated, and then did it again.
This is it's 8 minutes. I've told it on the podcast before and it came out to 8 minutes. That's how I know it's 8 minutes.
Okay.
No, that's not how it went down. I was I'm not going to tell the whole story again. I'll just get it.
Give me the synopsis.
I tried to get under his bed to scare him.
Uh-huh.
Let him go to sleep and scare him. He gets on the phone with his girlfriend. She's trying to break up with him. And I'm under the bed. Yeah. And I'm like, oh,
He hangs the
fuck.
phone like, fuck that bitch. I'm a beat off.
No, worse, dude. He was telling her he's gonna try to kill himself if they break up. And I'm like, oh fuck. I shouldn't have heard that. That's not something I need to hear. You know what I mean? And now what do I do? Like, hey, I was gonna scare you, but oh fuck, I said his name. All right.
Also, if you
Put a time on that. Oh,
also if you like worst case scenario, if you don't say anything there and he's that sad and he's that messed up, he just blows his brains out and you're under the bed now.
yeah. How do I? What do I tell
you
the
gotta
cops?
go out and tell his family, like, yeah, I was there, like I saw everything.
So they didn't break up. Immediately puts on a fucking video, like a Randy Rogers video or some bullshit, and starts jacking off. I only knew that because the bed started going, and I was like, "Oh fuck!" Now I'm like, I still haven't figured out how to get out from under there.
Let me tell you what, great opportunity to scare somebody. You want to talk? You could have really scared him.
He's like, "Bro, you've been into my bed for 2 hours." And then I'm texting my other roommate to come get me out. I don't get a response. And I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'm here for all night. I just spend the night under the bed. Sleep under his bed while he's above me.
Fuck, you're way more committed than I am.
I was committed. And the next morning, I get a text from my other roommate, like laughing. I'm like, bro, I'm still under this motherfucker. Come get me out.
Does he not hear the phone buzzing under the bed?
No, he's just snoring and shit. And so he starts beating on his door, and he says, fuck. He says, come, let's go to McDonald's, get breakfast. And he's like, no. And he didn't want to get up. And other dude was like, I got a good class. Fucking 30 minutes later, dude's alarm goes off. He gets up, or starts getting up. I hear that fucking song come on again. Jacks off again.
He's got to listen to Randy Rogers to beat
Pavlov's
off.
dog.
Yeah, yeah, I guess that song like sets him off, gets his dick hard. Then I text my roommate. And I'm like, he's doing it again.
It's like, why do you live there now? Get out under his bed.
So like, eventually the other roommate come back. That dude gets in the shower, and I'm like, card his door, get me the fuck out of here. You know, he fucking busts in. I run out immediately. I have to go piss. I just spent 10 hours under this dude's bed. Yeah.
I pissed on his floor.
Yeah, I know. I should have pissed on his floor. But yeah, I feel like that's my only story that I can, if I can wrap that up in 3 minutes to tell the beefiest part of it, you know?
I mean, you just got through all the highlights pretty quick. You just got to punch it up now.
Yeah, I got to, you know, I don't know how to fucking do that.
I
But
mean, that's a good story.
Yeah.
You can definitely do something with that.
But fuck, dude, I think,
I'd be mortified if I was on the bed beating off and one of my friends is under the bed.
oh, I don't know to this day if he knows, unless somebody.
He just said
told
his name twice.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna cut that out. Anyways, yeah, I don't know if he knows.
See, that's another thing. There's no way I'd be able to do that and then not tell my friend. Because the next day I'd see him be like, Randy Rogers, huh?
Just subliminally play it.
Just play it like every chance
He sees his
you get.
dick getting hard, and he's like, I gotta
go.
I gotta go to the bathroom. But no, dude, this dude was not stable enough for me to tell him and him think it's funny. You know what I mean? Like,
That makes it funnier.
yeah, he was about as big as me and a little fucking off. So I was like,
Fair enough.
you know what I mean? I might have had a fucking tussle on my hands. That's why when he started talking to his girlfriend, I was like, oh fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was gonna be funny for him up until
that
then.
moment. Yeah.
And then it was not gonna be funny for him. And I'm compromised under the bed. You know what I mean? How can I get out safely? You know?
Damn, you stayed till the next morning.
Yeah. Yeah. 10 hours.
Shit, I don't think I could have been quiet that long.
Oh, dude, I probably slept like for 30 minutes. You know what I mean? I was just like,
Right.
it's like,
There was no
Once he
sneaking
goes
out
to-
like
yeah.
2 a.m.
no, I was,
when he zonked
so he
out.
had I was literally in the width of this couch in a little like cubby because the other side had like cabinets.
So you like bumped it.
I don't know if you know Vista Place apartments in
I
Russell.
do know Vista
Yeah.
Place.
So I was under one of those beds and they have a cabinet. Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. So,
Oh, that's funny.
yeah. Yeah.
That's real funny.
So there was no way I would have had to like wormed my way out of that. And he had like shit under there. Yeah.
I'd have just started coughing profusely as soon as he starts beating off. Sorry, I was going to scare you. Surprise!
I should have texted him and be like, "There's a fucking fire." You know what I mean? Let's get the fuck out of the
Yeah, you know he's got his phone on him.
Yeah, damn it.
Text him, but hey, can you meet me down here at such?
Yeah, I got a flat or something. Come help me out.
Dude, y'all, I was fucking Delta level stealth under there. Like, he was not hearing me. You know what I mean? I was just like
This motherfucker's gonna have me checking under my bed to jack off from now on.
yeah, I was methodically breathing under there. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Gurdon. I'm into people's past, what get them in their brain kind of ticking. So, what'd you do in Gurdon?
I grew up on my grandpa's ranch down there, and I got into rodeo when I was in high school.
Yes.
And I had a horse tear up my shoulder, and so
Bronc riding or roping or what?
well, I was bronc riding, but I was loading up a stud horse into a trailer
Yeah.
to take to or I don't remember where we were taking him, but that's not important. Anyway, my dad came out screaming at me. I don't remember what he's mad. He's screaming at something. Spooks the horse, and instead of backing out of the trailer, the horse goes forward and pins me against like one of the steel gates.
Yeah.
And then just adrenaline shot, I just shoved it off of me. And when I got it off of me, but it took my shoulder with it and just blew out. Like it tore my labrum and some other stuff, and like my shoulder was hanging down to like right here.
Fuck.
Went and got it put back together, and then it fell out like 3 or 4 more times, and then I had to go get surgery on it.
Yeah. Damn.
But yeah, after that, I was like, okay, I'm not going to do rodeo anymore. So,
Yeah.
and then I went to Oklahoma State. Like I said, followed that girl up there, and I was just a young dude trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I thought I wanted to be an engineer, and I thought because I was smart enough to do it that I should do it.
Yeah.
And then I just didn't have any passion for it, and it wasn't until I found stand up that I realized that. Because I thought I was passionate about engineering. I was like, oh, I'm good at this. That means I'm passionate.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I found something I was actually passionate about that I was like, oh, okay, this is what I should do.
Yeah. Dude, let's put a pin in passion because I want to come back to that. But you did something a while ago that I think is great in a storyteller is that you passed over a minuscule point. You like said, that wasn't important, and you just went on. So many people get tied up into these little things. When you're telling a story, it's like just get the point. Just get fucking point. Anyway, so on the passion, that I feel like that's like the blight of fucking America. It's like you get told what you should do. You get told, you have these like, this is good money. I don't really give a fuck about it, but you know what I mean? And then people have midlife crisis or.
Well, I had to I was misconstrued about like, I thought when people were good at something, it was because they were just inherently good at it.
Yeah.
I didn't put it together in my stupid kid brain that they worked for thousands and thousands of hours to get good at it. So when you see like a good guitar player or a good singer or pick any art, like a painter, anything, if somebody's really good at it, they've spent thousands and thousands of hours honing that skill.
Yeah.
And so I realized that, just choose what you like and then work at it. And eventually you'll get better. You'll get to where you can have master level skill at something. It just takes years.
Yeah. That's that 10,000 hours thing.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like,
if you don't know what your passion is, I would say try something creative, because as soon as you start creating, you'll gravitate towards things you like, and one creative thing leads into another creative thing.
Were you a creative kid? Like,
I was, but I stifled it on myself. Like I didn't let myself be creative. So like I would want to do like drama or like want to do theater or want to do art or things like that, and then I would choose not to because my dad wants me to play football or whatever, and then so I would do the things I thought I was supposed to do versus the things I actually wanted to do.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to figure out, to just have the confidence in myself to do what I wanted.
Yeah. I mean, we're from a small town. I graduated 26 people.
Gotcha.
Like just middle of nowhere. And that kind of like mindset is, if you're not playing sports or doing like manly shit, it's kind of like,
Especially in a small town, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, art? What the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
Playing music might have been the only thing that you could do as a man.
If it's the right kind of music.
Yeah, right.
That
Yeah.
everybody there approves of.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking yeah. But like I got into photography after college,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like at a point where it didn't really make a fuck. You know what I mean? Like to anybody that I was around. And so it was kind of like a weight lifted off my shoulders because like I don't what was I scared of? You know what I mean? Yeah. But
Also, why would you let the opinions of people you're never going to see again influence?
Yeah.
Which we all do. We all do that when we're kids, but it's dumb.
No, I mean, I was fucking wearing like Hollister shirts in high school. That was dumb as fuck, but everybody else had it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was asking for that shit for Christmas, and and now looking back at it, I'm like, what the fuck was I doing? And like, I don't know. It's all just trying to fit in your little clique back then, and then as you get older, you're like,
You realize that those people aren't worth fitting in with.
and you realize like you're not happy living somebody else's dream. You know what I mean? You got to live your own thing and figure out what really kind of tickles your fancy,
Yeah, because there's nothing that makes me happier than when I'm at my house by myself, stoned out of my mind, and I come up with a new punchline. That brings me actual joy, whether I'm getting paid for it or not. Like, I'm going to do that whether I live in the Taj Mahal or whether I live under the bridge on I-30.
Yeah.
So once I found that, I could kind of relax because then I didn't care anymore because I knew what I was doing.
Yeah. And
But you got to try a bunch of shit to figure out what you like.
I feel like me and him speak the same fucking language because I preach that shit all the time. That's why we're doing this podcast because like I just need a creative outlet. You know what I mean? It's like I thought that was photography. I thought that was graphic design. And it's just like I just need something to fucking do to kind of get my juices flowing. You know what I mean? Because I can't just sit around and like watch TV and just spend my life away. You know what I mean? I need to fucking do something, So like
I wanted to be a singer
yeah.
until I heard myself sing. Then I was like, well, maybe I'll play guitar.
Yeah.
I can't sing, so maybe I'll do that.
Yeah.
And then I didn't stick with the lessons. My grandparents got me lessons when I was in like 8th grade, I want to say. And I really wish I'd stuck with it, but I didn't. My fingers hurt, and we weren't playing music I liked. It was like making me play Mary Had a Little Lamb. And I was like, fuck this. I don't want to play this song. I want to play like Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
But I gave up on that, and I ended up coming back to it later, just kind of goofing off and watching YouTube videos, kind of taught myself some stuff. But yeah, you just got to try a bunch of different stuff. I was going to be a professional hunter.
Yeah.
I was going out and making hunting videos and stuff. I was going to be a photographer. Did a lot. I was photo editor at Bryant for the paper.
Oh, yeah.
And so Bryant has a really good journalism program. And so like I learned a lot about digital photography there.
Oh, yeah.
And thought I was going to do that and then ended up not sticking with it. And like I said, you just got to try a bunch of shit and eventually you'll find it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, man. And that's the thing is you can not do that and just wake up one day and be like, oh, this fucking sucks. You know what I mean? Or you can try it, and if it doesn't work out, at least you fucking tried it.
And some people, like, they get stuck not because of poor decisions on their fault, just because life happens and you get responsibilities. Like, say you get a sick parent, you got to take care of them, or you got kids now, and like you got to put other people above yourself. And like, I get it. That happens. I was just in a fortunate situation where I could put all of my eggs in one basket, and so I just went for it.
Right. Yeah. That is a blessing. Oh, man. It's fucking dope. So what's the overarching, like, I know you came back to Arkansas, you've kind of kicking this shit up. Are we going back to Los Angeles one day? What's the
fuck no?
What's our
never lived in Los
What's
Angeles,
our next
man.
move?
Well, I think, and this is just where my brain's at now, and it comes from having moved out there and seen what the comedy scene is like out there. And I've been to other comedy cities too. Spent a little bit of time in Austin, spent some time in Chicago, and been in New Orleans. And I think what I'm going to do is stay in Arkansas for at least the next 2 or 3 years and just work on getting funnier.
Yeah.
Like work on, because I've got a feature set now. I know I can get feature work in the comedy clubs. And so I'm just working on building my hour and getting a really, really tight hour.
Yeah.
And then I'll probably self-produce something. So self-produce a special or something special-esque to put on YouTube just to try to get traction. Because there's no point in moving to a comedy city if nobody knows who the fuck you are. Because you're just going and getting in line behind 200 other people.
Yeah.
So unless you want to go stand in that line and play the politics game of if you can be friends with the right person, which is fine. Some people do that.
Yeah.
But that's a nightmare for me.
Fuck yeah.
Like I'd rather get funny and get a following and then go somewhere. So I'll probably move to a comedy city again. I'd love to be in New York and work like the Cellar and places like that, but I'm just not on that level.
Yeah.
So I've got to work on getting on that level, which is kind of the hard part. Eventually, I'm going to have to move because part of what makes great comics is being around other great comics.
Good culture, yeah.
And like, because if you go up and you see somebody just murder on a level you've never seen before, it inspires you and kicks a gear into you. Like, okay, I've got to step up my own shit.
Yeah.
And so iron sharpens iron. So you can be around the funniest and the sharpest people you can. That's how you get great.
Yeah.
And that's why most of the best comics flock to New York.
Yeah.
To be around other great comics.
Do you think it's possible to cultivate a comedy scene here?
Yes, I do. And that's something that I'm working on. It's something that I preach to all of my friends. I think we can build it here. And we are building it here. And because we've got more stage time now in Little Rock than there's ever been. And we've got better comics in Little Rock now than we've had in a long time.
Yeah.
And I believe that there's comics in Little Rock now that in 10 years from now are going to be recognized nationally touring headliners.
Oh, really?
I firmly believe that. But
That's fucking sick.
I mean, I think we're all going to need to be, we still need to be around like, you know, the Bill Burrs, the Jim Jeffries, the Mark Normans, the really funny people that helps inspire you and bring you up to that next level.
Yeah, I feel that.
Plus being here, doesn't matter how funny you are here if nobody knows who you are. Like I'm never going to get to open for like a Mark Normand or anything like that living here where nobody knows me. So I got to go somewhere eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just because there's comics that I want to work with.
Yeah. Well, shit, dude. Maybe me and Wyatt help you shoot something in the future.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. Dude, I love that you're like not just passionate about your own shit, but just building the whole thing because that's pretty sick. Yeah.
Well, yeah, man. Because when I first started, there was not anything
going on.
No, we had a couple of mics that we could go to. And my goal is to build up Scoundrels to where even if I leave Little Rock, it's still up and running to where not only are the businesses paying for these open mics, but there's money to pay hosts to come in and run the open mics and to have a place here to crash when people are doing shows here and to like build the infrastructure to where if comics are coming through and they want to work, they can.
Yeah. Hell yeah. On Scoundrels, like what got you like kicked off on that? Like what was the idea of like, hey, I need to put this together?
Me and my buddy Zane were hanging. We were just pissed that it would be a Saturday night and we wouldn't have a show booked. And so we'd be sitting at the house like, man, I want to be on stage. And so nights where we weren't booked, we started going out to different bars and places with stages. Just saying, hey, can we do a show here? Hey, can we do a show here? And the first few we did them for free. We started our show at Cregan's for free. We did 4 Quarter for free. We did Reno's for free. And
then they
just
believed in you.
Just trying to, well, we made a lot of mistakes. We're sitting there doing the show for free, and we're learning how to run open mics and learning how to do all this. And like I was telling him, when we first started doing this, we didn't have stage lights that we brought with us. We had like these big floodlights that were basically like French fry lights. So we'd just be cooking on stage. It'd be like 120 degrees, sitting there trying to tell jokes, pouring sweat. And it looks terrible. It looks like you got a flashlight under your face telling ghost stories at a campfire.
Yeah.
It's not good for stand-up at all. And then the comics would be bad. The people be at the bar, wouldn't be listening. They'd be talking over us, and then we'd get mad and start yelling at them. They'd start yelling at us. It was just a bad environment. And we had to learn over time how to handle those rough situations in the bar shows. But then we got a bar to start paying us. And once one started paying us, every time we'd go to another one, be like, all right, now the new standard is you have to pay us.
Yeah.
And then eventually when we had enough of them paying us, we went back to the ones that weren't paying us, like, hey, if y'all don't start paying us, we're going to go to where they do. And then they just moved up from there.
That's badass.
And so we had to go through the growing pains of being bad at it at first.
Yeah.
And we still make mistakes. Like we're still learning. We've only been producing shows for the past year and a half. So I've been doing stand-up for 5 years and producing shows for a year and a half. And so I'm still learning. Yeah. And I'm still figuring it out as I go.
That's what it's all about.
Every day we get a little bit better. And now we've got a little following. So no matter where we do shows now, we got a group of people that comes out and watches us every time.
That's cool.
So
and that might be the benefit of a small city is like that kind of loyalty. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know. I know it's
plus here, if like y'all hear about, oh, you want to go see an open mic? there's not 1,000 open mics here. So people haven't been burned with shitty open mics.
Yeah.
So you'll go, oh yeah, let's go check it out. And you'll see some people are funny. You see some people that are new and you'll have a good time.
Yeah.
Whereas in a big city, if you hear open mic, you're like, fuck that. I'm not going to that. I've seen 6 of those this week and they're all terrible.
Yeah.
And
That's a good point.
so the market, I think Little Rock is the perfect place to start. It's just, I don't think that it's big enough for us to get as big as we want to get.
I was about to go into that. I know it's move on an hour here, but I don't know what's your time.
I'm good as long as you have
Okay.
me, man.
So like, being a comedy fan, I've talked about this with other people, trying to recruit comedy fans. You know what I mean? And you know, I try to say, go to the Looney Bin. Whoever you see there is probably going to be funny. I go, you might not know who they are. You know, the people that you know who's coming are playing a theater or whatever.
Yeah, if you know their name, you're paying big money to go see them.
Right. So we don't have that like middle thing, you know. You either see the guys that you might not know their name. They're going to be funny as fuck. They wouldn't be headlining the Looney Bin if they're not funny.
Right.
Just don't get scared that you don't know their name. You're gonna laugh, you know. But I was like, what is it? Just population that we can't get that middle?
Well, I think
club size, you know.
I think part of the issue is Netflix's fault for giving so many people a special before they were necessarily ready for it. Because we've all been scrolling and seeing something on Netflix, be like, oh, this is stand up. Let me click on this. And then you watch it for 5, 10, 15 minutes and they don't make you laugh at all. It's not funny. You're like, damn. And then you're way less likely to do that again because the last time you didn't have a good experience with it. And so you're like, man, do I really want to invest this much time to go in it? And especially if you're going out to a club, like, do I want to pay the tickets, buy the drinks, take my girl, like get dressed up, spend the gas, pay the babysitter, all that stuff for somebody that I've never heard of before. And you're taking a chance because they may not be funny. And they may be funny to other people and they just don't resonate with you.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think you got to get over that stigma if you're going to be a real comedy fan, which I think comedy fans do, because we do have regulars that come out to the bin and stuff and see everybody. It's just most people aren't going to be that invested. They want to wait until they know it's hilarious and then they'll go.
Yeah.
But they miss out because then they don't get to see the Kevin Harts before they were Kevin Harts.
That's what
they
I
don't
was
get to see.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
There's a guy that came through recently that I've like seen on a couple podcasts and I missed him.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, fuck, I know he's going to, it's like Craig Conant. I don't know if you know who he is.
Yeah, I know him.
Looks like a surfer dude.
Yeah.
Dude, his podcast is funny as fuck.
He's funny.
Everything I've seen from him is funny as fuck.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I know a lot of people don't know who he is. You know what I mean?
The only reason I know him is because I worked with him out west.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if they would have just ventured to the Looney Bin that night, they would have seen somebody that's like on the rise. You know what I mean? But it's like, you don't know who he is. You're not going to go. You know? I don't want people to get scared of that because it's like, just fucking go.
And also,
it's always going to
worst case scenario, it's terrible. And then you make fun of them for being terrible. You're going to have fun. Stand-up shows are inherently fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're awkward. Especially at open mics. Sometimes they're awkward. You got comics up there talk what I'll say is like a black belt level premise. Like they'll tackle race or trans issues or gay rights or something that is going to be real touchy and piss a lot of people off.
Yeah.
But that's how the best jokes are about those things because they toe a line and they trick the audience and they make you think you're going to go one direction when you go another one completely. And that's what the best jokes are. And those jokes have stakes, which is another thing. A lot of comics are complaining about woke culture right now, which I kind of love it because it makes comedy dangerous again.
Yeah.
Because like back in the day, comedy used to be dangerous. If you went on stage and said the wrong thing, you got arrested. Like Lenny Bruce and they all got arrested.
Yeah.
And like now, like there's stakes again. It's like, oh, you can feel it's dangerous. Like you'll start to get into a topic and everybody's assholes will start to get tight. You're like, uh-oh, what's he going to say? What's he going to say? And it's fun. That danger makes it fun.
Yeah.
It's like riding a motorcycle. The reason why it's fun is because it's dangerous, because it can go bad.
For sure. I mean, so like who are your, not inspirations, but who are your like pinnacle comedians that you either like now or grew up liking? I know
Ron White's at the top of that list for sure. I love Ron White. I used to watch Blue Collar Comedy Tour with my dad when I was real young.
Yeah.
And he had a big influence on me. I love Rogan. A lot of people like Rogan's podcast, but don't like his stand up. But I found his podcast through his stand up. Like, I'm a big fan of his stand up.
Yeah.
I like Bill Burr. Bill Burr's really, really funny. Mark Norman's one of the few comics that I can watch Mark Norman specials on repeat.
Dude.
Like,
Yeah, for sure.
a lot of comedy specials I'll watch one time and then I'll know the jokes, so that'll be it.
Yeah.
But Mark Norman, I can put that shit on repeat.
Oh, dude. He's next level.
He's so funny.
Yeah.
And just joke.
Yeah.
There's no fat in his set at all. It's all jokes.
No, the whole thing, dude. And it's just, it is the way, I don't know if it's his face or his delivery, the way he can say the dirtiest thing to you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just funny as fuck.
He's found that like nice guy, like approachable, like, I don't know, like kung fu master way where you don't get pissed off at him.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Andrew Schultz too. Schultz, his newest special. Have you seen the
Fuck yeah, dude.
Infamous?
That might be my favorite one this year.
Dude, that we had 15 comics come over to my house and watch that when it dropped. And like we were all like hanging on each other crying.
Dude.
Like, that was so fucking funny.
I don't know if Wyatt's watched it, but dude.
That's one. If you haven't seen Andrew Schultz's latest special, wait till you're having a bad day. Like if you're having a bad day, shit's not going right in your life, your boss is on your ass, your wife's mad at you, whatever. Go in your room, sit down, like whatever your vice is. If you like to drink, if you like to smoke, whatever, get whatever you like, sit down, relax, put that Joker on. You're going to have a great time.
Dude, he's not lying. That shit
is so funny.
Mary Kate, I've kind of dragged her into the life over here. And that one, she was literally laughing out loud.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That one got her fucking good.
Yeah, it's one of the best I've seen in a minute.
Yeah.
I like Bert Kreischer a lot.
I love Bert.
Secret Time is one of my favorite specials.
Did you see him when he came to Little Rock?
No. I was working.
Oh, yeah. But fuck, he can't. He brought me and Wyatt when he brought Shane Torres.
Yeah.
Dude, that motherfucker, he's like undercover funny. Like,
Shane Torres is great.
You know what I'm saying?
Gillis
Like,
too.
Oh yeah, yeah. You remember? Yeah, we love Shane Gillis. Shane Torres, the feature for. It's like the whole time he's like, you know, he's about to be funny, and he's setting it up, and then he just fucking hits you, and then it's like almost that you forget that he's about to be funny again. You know what I mean? He fucking cracks your ass again, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
But Bert, you're talking about being a storyteller. Bert's like a fucking master storyteller.
Yeah.
And that what I have on the board, don't ruin a good story with the truth over there.
Yeah.
That's a Bert fuckingism. I don't know if that came from Bert, but that's where I heard it. Just because it's like every story he has is not the way it went out, but it's better than the actual way it went down.
Right. I've heard that same quote slightly different. It's like, don't let the truth ruin a good joke. But it's saying the same thing. Yeah. And you just, the essence of it, you have to be honest on stage because truth does come from honesty. But it's a type of honesty where your emotions in the situation, like you have to be honest with how you were feeling.
Yeah.
Like say you saw a fight at Wendy's, right?
Yeah.
And it could have been like 2 5'6" guys. It's like both guys are like 6'7" and they're 300 pounds. And like, yeah, you're embellishing it and stuff, but like for the sake of stand up, that still happened, and your feelings about it is still funny. Like you add the how do I explain? You add like spice to it. You change details just to add a little bit of flavor to make it funnier.
So you saying that made me think about this. When I take a photo and I edit it, you know, I try to put that the way that made me feel into the edit. If that makes sense. It's like the camera's taking literally what I'm seeing.
Right.
But what you're seeing is like a more of a fucking, you're getting something out of it that I felt while I was there. You know what I'm saying?
I've got a story that ends with a woman falling off a cliff and she's pregnant. And when she hits the water, her baby shoots out of her and skips across the water like you're skipping a rock.
Yeah.
It takes me a lot to build up to that because it's a lot to just drop on an audience. But clearly that's something that really had this woman. It was at Bates Bluff over floating the Piney.
Yeah.
If you know where that is. She jumped off the very top and like fucked herself up. And no, she didn't sling a baby out, but that's the little detail that she embellished and added. But that story came from a real moment. And when I'm talking about my emotions there, I'm speaking from truth.
Yeah.
It's just you add little things just to get the punchlines.
Damn, you're the first person that's like put that shit together for me. You know what I mean? Like now it makes sense because it's like,
did a baby shoot out of her? No, of course not. Like that'd be horrific. But
you're not.
God, wouldn't it be funny if it did?
Yeah, you're not paying me to come up here and tell you facts.
Right. If you're making political and like informed decisions from comedians, you're stupid.
Yeah,
you're really fucking dumb.
Yeah,
because like the only goal is to make you laugh. Like that's it. Don't take anything that you see somebody on stage say seriously.
Yeah,
ever.
Yeah,
because I've heard some horrific stuff on stage.
Yeah,
but that of course they don't mean. Like they're saying it because it's funny, because it's a fucked up thing to say.
Yeah,
it's one of the few like instances in our culture where somebody can say the worst things and it be okay because everyone understands that. Yeah, we're just trying to be funny.
Yeah. Do you know? Did you watch that Stavros? What's his last name? Stavros starts with an H, I think.
From Cumtown.
Yeah.
From Cumtown.
Yeah, that was his podcast.
Just gonna drop that in there all nonchalant. Yeah, from Cumtown. Oh, Stravos. Okay.
Wyatt used to live in Cumtown. Yeah, that did. Go to videos and see his latest special. How do you say that name? How?
Ice Creek.
Yeah. Anyways, so can you like?
What do you?
I want you to click on it so I can see it or zoom in. This motherfucker right here.
This one.
This dude. So I grew up watching Blue Collar, but I grew up watching, I guess it would be my mom's comedians. If that makes sense. Like, yeah. So most of those guys are like mid 50s now, and all of them make me fucking laugh. This motherfucker, and a little bit on Andrew Schultz, but this motherfucker was the first guy that is like my exact age group to the fucking T, where like everything he saw, it's like how I like, we've lived our life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I love that we're getting in a generation where like comedians our age are starting to like come out as the big deal. And we're kind of like getting the same vibe from them because you get the, like, I love Bill Burr, but he's still seeing it as a 55-year-old.
Right. It's like he's teaching you a lesson when you listen to Bill Burr.
Yeah, for sure.
He's like,
but even Rogan or the guys that are 55, they can't not see it at 55. You know what I mean? Like how can you not? I mean,
and that's the great, like, people will see comics that they've never heard of before. Like, oh, this guy just popped up out of nowhere and he's hilarious and he's killing it. Well, it took him 10, 15 years of working on that till he ever got there.
Yeah.
You just don't know about him till then.
So what?
I was going to say the first time I heard of Mark Norman was his early morning show.
Yeah.
On like a local news channel.
Yeah.
It's like, how you doing today? A little hungover, a little gay. Dude, just
comedy.
Comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Him, Tom Segura's morning shows. Have you seen him? Where he dresses like as a pimp.
That's something, especially with Tom Segura, I've been thinking like, if any of us here locally are going to get any traction, we got to do something like that.
Random.
You got to do some random publicity, things like that during interviews or something to get anybody to pay attention.
Yeah. To kind of like, it's like the anchors know kind of what they're getting themselves into, but don't quite know what they're getting themselves into.
Sometimes they don't know.
Yeah.
And that's when it's really funny.
Well, Mark Norman's, it's like she knew it was going to be funny, but I don't think she knew exactly like which direction he was coming, you know. Tom would just act like he's a whole nother dude.
Yeah, he'd be a completely different character.
And they're like, we weren't expecting this. And he's like, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Yeah. He, like, I love Tom Segura, but he just talks about how much he hated doing, like, morning and radio shows and shit. So he would just, like, one day he just said he was going to start doing that. I was like, fuck. That
was 2016.
Yeah.
That's only 8 years ago.
But in working years, like if you had 8 more years under your belt, how good would you be?
Oh, it'd be completely different.
That's what I'm saying. So like it feels like it's not that long ago, but like
Yeah.
working years. You know, that's
Yeah.
and Tom getting like no telling what kind of stage time that motherfucker could pull.
That he gets on stage as much as he wants.
Wants
He's at
to.
a level where, when you get to that level, the hard thing is getting on a crowd that doesn't know you.
Yeah.
Because if your fans come out to see you, then they love you regardless. So if you have a bad night, they're still going to love you, and you don't know if your jokes are really funny.
Yeah.
Because everybody's just laughing because they love you.
Yeah.
Where at that level, you got to like drop in and do some guest spots in places that people don't know you're coming, and people that don't know who you are.
Yeah.
And then work it out and see if you like. That's how like Chris Rock. I know he'll drop in and do guest spots at random clubs, random places, which everybody knows Chris Rock. It's hard for him to go anywhere where nobody knows where he's at.
Fuck.
But where at least it's not like his fans that bought the tickets.
Yeah. True.
To where you can really work something out and see
it's
if
more
it's
about
funny.
mixed crowd. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine being Chappelle or somebody that's just like, you know, how can you find a person that doesn't know who you are?
Right.
You know what I mean?
My goal is to make electrician money. That's what I want. I want like my brother's an electrician. If I can make like electrician money, I think I've made it. I don't care anything past that. As long as I can do that and pay my bills.
That's so that Stavros. The reason he was on my mind, he was on Your Mom's House with Tom Segura, and he was talking about he's from Baltimore, and he was like kind of grew up poor, and he's like I made it like 6 years ago. He's like, I was getting paid to do this, and that was my only dream. And he's like, now what the fuck do I do? And he's like, I wasn't planning on this. He was like, I just planned to like do weekends and like make $1,500, and he's like, I didn't know that it was going to keep going. He's like, you know, but yeah, dude, I could see where that first time you got a little money in your pocket from telling jokes has to feel fucking.
My first paid gig, it was a month in.
Yeah.
I went to Sand Springs, Oklahoma. Well, I got to the venue like 3 hours early. Showed up at this bar, the Iron Pony Saloon. I don't think it's there anymore.
It's just a bar. Just not a comedy club. It's
No,
a bar.
this is just a bar. And get there, there's a pit bull in the bar room, and there's maybe 6.
A dog? A pit bull? Like
No,
seriously?
the artist, pit bull. Yes, a dog.
Wait, I'm not expecting you to say there's a dog in the fucking.
Yeah, there's a dog in the bar. And here's the thing. There's like 6 or 7 piles of shit underneath different tables in the bar.
They're just letting us.
And there's dog shit in there. The bar smells like dog shit. I walk in there. It's the owner. He's behind the bar. I'm like, hey, man, we got people showing up any minute now. So, I don't know if we could get rid of the dog shit. He's like, oh, I got it. Gets a paper towel and a bottle of Febreze and goes and starts picking it up and just squirting some Febreze. So now the whole venue smells like dog shit and Febreze. Crowd shows up. Producer shows up. He's getting ready to do the show. The stage lights don't work. And they got all the lights in the bar off. So we're in a dark room. Then the mic cuts out. Mic doesn't work. So we're in a dark room and we're having to do it a cappella.
Fuck no.
And I've
You're
been
just
doing-
yelling into the crowd?
Yeah, just yelling into a bar. And I've been doing stand up for like 20 days. It was fun though. Like I went up and I did a set.
Successful, or did you just.
Kinda. I mean, I was doing really terrible. I did a joke about fucking a couch. And then I did a joke about the dude in Pompeii that they found jacking off. Like all them early jokes I wrote, they were all about weed and dick. Like for the first year of my career, it was just dick jokes and weed jokes.
Which we all love.
Right. And there's like, talk about what you know. So that's what I did.
Yeah.
And so I think about that set. I still got a recording of it somewhere, but it like makes me cringe, but it was also really fun.
So you miss a little bit, don't you? Those grimy bars that you used to play at.
I mean, I still play at them, so I'm still on that same level. So. But I got paid $60 for that show. It paid for my gas there and back.
Hell yeah.
So, and that's when I was like, okay, if I can get paid at least my gas money for this in the beginning, because like I said, I was like a month in.
Yeah.
I was like, I can find a way to make a living out of this.
Yeah. What's it like? I mean, how the fuck did you get that gig there? Just random as fuck?
Randomly, the comic hosting at the Looney Bin, the day I was there, the one that introduced me to the open mic host, when I first got started, I hit him up and was like, hey, man, I took your advice. I went, I did open mics. I've been doing them. I'm doing it now. Just want to say thank you. He's like, well, I produce shows out here in Tulsa. If you ever want to come out here, I was like, I do.
Yeah.
I was like, sign me up. He's like, I got one on this date. And he said, I'll pay you $60. I was like, bet, I'll be there.
Fuck yeah, dude. That like networking has to be a big deal.
I mean, comics are how comics get work. Like you get 90% of your work from other comedians.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so going like, especially when I'm going out of town or a town I hadn't been to before and I'm hitting shows and stuff, like that's all I'm trying to do is meet people that I think are funny. Because if I think are funny, if I think they're funny, they'll probably think I'm funny and like we'll
connect.
Yeah, we'll be able to mesh.
Fuck yeah, dude.
But I've driven all the way up and down California from here in Montana and back. I haven't gone up the East Coast yet. That's about the only part of the country I haven't done.
Yeah.
But
you looking forward to that? You think the boots and the beard's gonna fly?
I ain't worried about it. If I can fly in Los Angeles, I can fly anywhere.
Fuck yeah.
You haven't played in New York?
No, not yet.
Yeah.
Be cool.
I got a buddy in New York. He's got a club up there. Everything's so expensive up there. And I know if I go up there, I'm not going to make any money. So it's like, when do I want to go spend New York money? Never. So I'm never there.
Yeah.
But I got to eventually because, like I said, I want to be able to work the cellar in other places. So.
Right. Yeah. I mean, dude, I imagine there's a lot of fucking minor goals on the way to the top, right? Yeah. Just like, doing little shit.
Hell, I just hit one of my big goals was I wanted to get bumped to feature.
Yeah.
At the Looney Bin, and I just got bumped. So I'm really fucking excited about that.
Hell yeah. So, just kind of reiterate that. What's the best way to find out when you're playing?
At Scoundrels Live Stand Up.
Okay.
That's here locally in Little Rock. Now,
your social for other dates or anything like that?
That's for my business here, what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
Now, all of my bookings, if I get booked out of town, outside of Little Rock, I post them at Bair the Comic, BAIRTHECOMIC.
Yeah.
That's where all that is.
Bair. All right, man. We're going to wrap this up, but this question I ask everybody before they leave. Eventually, one day I'm going to put like a compilation together. So it's kind of on the spot. But if you had to live one day, 24-hour period in somebody's life, you can't change their life, but you're just living one day in their life, dead or alive, who would it be?
One day in the life of anybody.
Anybody. I mean,
any historical figure.
Anybody. You're living it. You're not changing anything.
Not change. I just get to experience a day as them.
Yeah.
That's a great question, man. I'm not gonna like. I want to say something like smart and witty, like Alexander the Great, or like something like that. But I'm not gonna lie. There's this homeless dude that's over, like, he lives over in North Little Rock.
Yeah,
and he's got a wizard hat and a robe. And every time he looks like he's having a great time, man. Like he looks like he's having fun. And just one day, like,
to get that perspective.
Yeah, just because like I don't want to sleep on the sidewalk, but like I want to see why he's so happy. Yeah.
One day I could.
I don't even know his name. I wish I knew his name, but he's right there at the exit at JFK. There's a little Exxon station and there's a Taco Bueno, and he stands right there with his wizard hat. And, like, I'm talking about like Sorting hat, like Gryffindor, Slytherin, like that kind of wizard hat.
Not like purple with stars.
No.
Like
I'm talking about old school leather, like nice as shit. And he's got like a wizard.
Might be a wizard, huh?
And like it's just a dirty white man, but God, he looks like he's having fun.
Let's fucking go. That's badass. All right, man. Would love to have you on again.
Absolutely, man. Anytime. I'm here locally, so just let me know.
Yeah, and you know other comedians if I don't know.
Absolutely,
if they would be down to
I'll
do
give
this.
you a list of names.
All right, and dude, maybe we can do something in the future.
Hell yeah,
collab on some shit. All right, Bair the Comic, at Bair the Comic. All right,
thanks for having me, man.
All right, guys, we'll be back in next week. Thanks again for listening. Don't forget to call in with any questions. We didn't have any questions this week because we've been off. Nobody's been calling. I'm not going to hold it against Joe, but 501-683-9594. Questions, comments, leave video messages.
Send dick pics, like whatever you got.
Those will be forwarded to Wyatt. Buy the merch, gardenfreshmedia.com for the merch. We got hoodies, we got pants. We got hats, any kind of, thing to cover your body. No boxers. We're a pantsless community. I guess that's it. You got anything for us, Wyatt? All right. We will talk to y'all later.